Okay, what are you doing?
I'm getting ready to graft a plumeria plant. So, you know, I have too many plumerias. I have like 30 something, and we're running out of space. So I'm trying to consolidate them. See, so these are plumerias that are rooted already, but I really don't have any place to plant them in the ground or a pot. So I'm gonna take these and graft it onto a plant that's already in a big pot. So I don't have to, you know, worry about upsizing it and having too many pots or plumerias taking up too much space. So the first one, so there's a lot of different ways you could graft plumeria, and because they're very easy to graft. You know, there's like wedge cuts, there's like angular grafts, or there's this type of graft that I'm not sure the name of, but it's basically you're making two puzzle pieces that interlock. So I'm gonna do that one because I like that one.
Like Tetris.
Yeah, sort of like that. So the first thing is to find two pieces that are roughly the same thickness, or cut them in a place where they're roughly the same thickness. So I'm gonna cut this a little lower here, and then I'll cut it about here. So let me start with this. Just gonna cut this. Some people use a grafting knife, but I find that this kitchen knife is fine. Just make sure it's clean. So I'm gonna let that sit here. So then I'm gonna make a cut roughly in the same place, right there. Actually, I'm gonna move up a little bit to give myself room in case I make a mistake. I can work my way down. Okay. So put that down there. So now I'm going to cut out half of the branch. And you know, the more you cut, the more area for the graft to heal. So that gives it more opportunities to fuse. So now I'm just gonna cut out this piece. Okay. So there we go. So now I'm gonna take this and cut out a piece to fit into here. So make sure the angle is right, so it's curving the same direction. So I'm gonna cut it. So I'm gonna make it a mark. So I cut the right amount out. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna cut it upwards. You notice how this branch is, has a lot of liquids coming out? It's nice and juicy, that's good. Because sometimes when you try to graft and the branch is dry, there's a good chance it won't make it. So now I'm gonna fit them together. So this one's a little bit taller. So I'm gonna cut off a little bit from this. And notice I'm wearing gloves, just in case I cut myself. You know, cutting plumeria is almost like slicing a cucumber. So, and this angle, it's not right, so I'm gonna cut this way. So I'm just keeping cutting until they fit right, or you know, well enough. So now, this angle, I just need to cut a little more in here. Okay, that's a pretty good fit. Well, it kind of sticks out a lot, so you're gonna cut off a little more here too. And then cut off a little more here. A little more. Okay, now it fits pretty well. So I'm gonna go get my grafting tape and bandage it up. So this is grafting tape. You get it at a nursery. It's sort of like plastic wrap. Okay. So we put it together and start wrapping it in grafting tape. I'm gonna make sure it's tight. One of the reasons why I like this method of grafting is that the pieces, they interlock, so it's easier to hold them together while you're wrapping them up. Okay, there we go. There's one graft. And I forgot to mention that the variety that I grafted onto this, which is, I'm not, a coworker gave me this, so I'm not sure what this variety is, but this variety is called Hawaii Red. This right here. Okay. Now I'm going to do another graft using a different technique. So I'm going to do a wedge cut, which is where you kind of cut a V out of the host plant, and then you kind of make a wedge with the piece that you want to graft on. So same thing. I'm going to find the section that is similar in width. So this looks about good. So make a cut here, actually a little higher. Okay. Then I'm gonna get a piece from the plant I want to graft on. Okay. So now I'm going to cut a V into this. Let me start in the middle. And the deeper you cut, the more opportunity the graft has to fuse together and heal. So I'm gonna get it pretty deep. Take this piece out, cut this side, this side there's a little more room, so I'm going to cut more, cut a little more. Take my the piece that I just cut and then kind of V into it. That's roughly the same length as this wedge I cut into the other plant. So right here. So now I'm gonna start cutting a V. Okay, the other side. It's almost like I'm slicing a carrot. Okay, so I'm just going to check to make sure they fit. Okay, so this one needs to be a little deeper, so I'm going to cut a little more. Okay. I'm going to try it again. Okay. Okay, that's a pretty good fit. So what I like about this style of grafting is that you don't have to hold it in place. It stays in place itself. So I have two free hands to bandage it up. So again, wrap the grafting tape tightly around the wedge piece. The tighter the better, because you want to make sure that there's contact between the host plant and the branch that you're trying to graft. I'm just going to go around one more time just to make sure that it's nice and tight. Okay, so that should be good. So in about 2 to 3 months it should heal. And make sure when you're grafting you do it in the springtime. If you do it later in the year, before the plant goes dormant, for instance, it may not have time to heal and your graft may fail. So let me show you some grafts. So last year I did a couple of grafts. So this is the style that I didn't demonstrate today, but this is a little trickier because you have to hold them together and it's kind of hard to hold them together. It's just an angular cut along the branch of the host and then the branch that you're grafting. It makes for a pretty nice heel. See, so the plant healed pretty well, and I've had a lot of luck with this style grafting, but it's just hard to hold these two pieces together while you're wrapping the tape around. So if you want to do this style, it helps to have somebody helping you. Okay, let me show you another style graft. So what I did here is I used the puzzle cut I showed earlier. So you notice that these pieces fit into each other, almost like a Tetris pieces. and it heals pretty nicely, but the scar is larger because there's more surface area that's being fused together, so it doesn't look quite as good as the first example. But this also has a very high success rate just because there's so much surface area coming in contact with the host and the scion. Okay, there you go.